Okay, so now let me explain. I have to explain this game to you. This was also played in Groningen, but in 1992. And the important thing about this game is my opponent needed to draw to get an IM norm. And he had white, and he offered me a draw and move 10, and I declined because I don't give away norms. Thanks, Peter T. Ja 31. All right.
I'm listening, but I was just trying to look.
Go kangaroo.
Chat real quick.
Okay, and my opponent took. Okay, so black has a big advantage here, and the main reason, which is obvious to even the most dim-witted individual with an advanced degree in hyperbolic topology, is I have access to the d4 square, and he doesn't have access to the d5 square. So my knight can come right on in here, and his knight can never come here. Also, these pawns are weaker. I'm already on this pawn. My weak pawns are difficult to attack. Or I'm already attacking one of his weak pawns. So black has a big advantage here. Okay, so I played knight e6 because I want to come into d4. Played queen b2 defending his weak pawns. And I played knight g5 attacking his pawn, hoping he would play f3, never play f3. On the other hand, if he doesn't play f3, well, I'm going to take this pawn. If he defends with his queen, he's undefending his pawn here. So he played f3, and that opens more avenues for me. In fact, the engine says f3 is the losing move. It says it's better for him to give this pawn away than to weaken his king like this. So I played queen c5. Now, if he plays queen f2, we're going to ask Karen what black should do here. He didn't do that.
Okay, let me look. Let me see. If I take that pawn, they get a pawn. And then you get that pawn. Oh, yeah. Knight h3.
Right.
I didn't even see it immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wins the queen. So he didn't do that. So he played king g2, and I played queen e3 attacking his knight. He can't move his knight because then his f-pawn's hanging. So he plays queen f2, and I win a pawn. Hooray! And his pawn structure is ruined. Okay, he plays queen d2. He wants to get counterplay against my king. I play h6, so my king has an escape square. He wants to trade queens. Now, I yelled at you guys 2 days ago for this same thing. And I was like, if you play the wrong move here, that means you voted for Trump, you're Republican, you're white supremacist, right? And then somebody in the chat said, and this has been being nice to us. Okay, now, if you've had a chess coach, they incorrectly told you, every chess coach you've had, that when you're ahead material to trade pieces. Okay, incorrect. And this is the most incorrect. This position, it's much better to have the queens on with black because this king is so exposed and my king is so safe. And these pawns are all weak and I can't put pressure on them without my queen. So queen takes queen is a ridiculous move. I've never been so angry. Okay, so I played queen b2 check. He can't play queen c2 because he's losing his a-pawn. So he played king f1. And I take another pawn. Go Ben. Now, you might say, why did he play king f1? Well, king h3 is illegal. He plays king g1. I check. And then this would be mate. And worse than mate is if he plays king h1 and I win his queen. Even worse than mate. So king f1, very reasonable. Now I'm up 2 pawns. He checks and gets one of his pawns back, and now his queen can defend. I played knight h3, so his queen can't take either pawn because of mate. So he played g4, saving his g-pawn. I played here, threatening queen e2 check, winning his knight. Played queen f2. Again, I'm a pawn up here, and the worst move you can make is to trade queens. Obviously, my king is perfectly safe, and his king is not. So I check, king g1, And now I want to give my king a little more room to move up and mess his pawns up. So I played h5, which is the engine move. He has to take. And I played queen e6, which is also the engine move. I'll take this whenever I want. This pawn's very hard to defend. Very hard. He played queen c5, defending it. I played queen d7. He can't take this on a5 because my queen comes here, check. And then I come in and get him. So he played king f1, and then I check. And he plays king g1, and now I have a forced win. Let's see if Karen can find it.
92.
Then king f2. The only legal move. In fact, queen c5 was a blunder. When I played queen d7, or I'm sorry, king f1's a blunder in this position. He's still losing. I'm at +5, but this loses immediately to this check. And now I have a forced win.
Oh, yeah, you could go queen g3.
Right, and he has to play king f1.
Right, and then you can wait. My move was done. Yeah, oh, but he can take. That's what I knew. There. Oh, yeah. Queen e1, and then fork. I had the fork in my head, and then I got confused.
Yeah, then he resigned here.
Yeah.
I looked him up later, like recently. He's an IM now, but not because of this game. So he eventually got his IM title. Yeah, he put the choke in Troyke. Anyway, I remember I was drinking with my Dutch friends when the tournament ended, and I said, in my last round, I played a guy who needed a draw for IM norm, and I moved 10, he offered me a draw, and I declined, and eventually I won, and they were like, okay, whatever. And I said, and he was German. Then they were like, oh, then they all bought me drinks. Yeah, the Dutch don't like the Germans. Truth hurts.